Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, welcome back to another episode of Books and Buds. I wasn't going to post a video this week because I am very swamped with edits, line edits, and everything else from my book Corpse Lily that's going to be coming out soon. And I also have a second draft that I'm working on for Yesterday's Wounds. It's a novella that I'm putting out for a box set with Rhetoric Askew. It's geared towards the USA Today bestseller list. So I'm trying to focus on these two projects because they're going to be the first things I've traditionally published through a publishing house. And I'm hoping that it'll be the start of my writing career. So I'm taking it pretty seriously and I'm putting all of the projects aside. However, I did finish reading an audiobook or listening to an audiobook. It was called Bound by Family by Ryan Michele. Ryan Michele is a female. I want to put that out there because I made that mistake too. While I was listening to it, I said, wow, this isn't the book that I expected from a male writer. But then when I looked her up on Amazon and Goodreads, I discovered that Ryan is in fact a female. And she's a damn capable writer. I'll give her some credit. Now, her book, Bound by Family, it was my very first erotica. I gave 50 Shades of Grey a shot when it first came out just because of all the hype. And I didn't make it through the first chapter. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Nothing against the author. I think her name is E.L. James. Nothing against her. Just not my cup of tea. But you know what? It's like, I've never read an erotica. Do I like it? Do I dislike it? So I decided to give this book a shot. It was book one in the Ravage MC series. The Ravage MCs is a motorcycle gang based out of Georgia. And in this particular book, they go to a motorcycle rally in Florida where our main character, Cooper, meets his love interest, Bristol. So the chapters go, one chapter it'll be Cooper, the next chapter it'll be Bristol. Well, it turns out Bristol is the daughter of a higher up in the Sinister Sons, which just so happens to be a motorcycle gang based out of Florida. So when they meet, Cooper doesn't realize this. He just likes this girl, and it was an interesting book. It was very well written, but I did discover that I don't like erotica. However, I did give the book 4 stars on Goodreads, and I left a very nice review, a flattering one, because it wasn't Ryan Michele's fault that I disliked the book. It was just the erotica genre, and I understand the point of it is to have the story interrupted by long and oftentimes very detailed sex scenes, but I found that to be a little annoying. So I just wanted to get to the story. So instead of giving her 5 stars, I gave her 4, and I made sure to write down that was my only reason, and to praise her for her writing capabilities and for her story. It was really good. But yeah, the sex scenes, it just got annoying after a while. I was like, oh come on, I want to know what happens next, and to have it messed up like that kind of really threw me off the story. But so I don't want to give you too much details, but there's this other biker gang that's down there, and one nasty character has a thing for this girl Bristol, and Cooper Cruz, the Ravage guy, he met her at the laundromat. Her father's motorcycle club, the Sinister Sons, happens to have a bunch of legitimate businesses that they launder illegal money through, and she happens to do the books for a lot of them. So she answered the phone when Cooper called. They were having some problems with one of the machines, and she came down with her plumber and took care of it, and that's how they met. The meeting didn't go so well, but when Cooper saw her the next day, he was pretty spitting with her still, and that's when we knew something was brewing between those two. And one Yahoo at this motorcycle rally was getting a little too hands-on with her, and it was pretty obvious to Cooper and his friends that she wasn't enjoying the experience, and it wasn't a welcome hands-on experience. So he put a stop to that. Now, they meet later on in the book, and it gets pretty interesting because it's not till later on that he realizes she's part of another group. And the Sinister Sons, there's a member of that group that's really he really, really wants her, this Bristol character. But the whole time, Bristol and Cooper have been developing a nice kind of a long distance relationship. They've been messaging every night, making phone calls, and on weekends he does what he can to make sure his responsibilities are in order. But then he goes and he spends the weekend with her. They meet, like, he drives a little farther, she drives an hour north, but they kind of meet halfway and they stay in a hotel room and they make sure to go out to breakfast and dinner, and they just have a great time. And and it's pretty serious. It's not just sex; it's very, very serious. And I'll basically just leave it at that because I don't want to give away too much at the end. But there was a lot of twists at the end that I was not expecting. There was some violence, which was another reason I thought maybe this was written by a guy because it satisfied my needs as a guy to have some violence and some action and a romance. I really like that. So, and I am a romance reader. I think it's really nice and sweet. But this book was kind of a romance with the violence. Like I said, just didn't like the sex scenes and stuff. But I don't know. I can see myself maybe reading some more erotica. I'm gonna. This was book one in a series, so I'm probably gonna read a few more of Ryan Michelle's books before I can give you a definitive of whether or not I like her or dislike her. But I think I might have learned my lesson, and I'll either flip through or I'll just fast forward on my listening device, and I'll get right through those sex scenes because she does write a heck of a good story, and the plots at the end, so it really sold it for me. I was very impressed, and of course, it's a love story. It had a really happy ending, and I enjoyed that. So keep an eye out for her. I'll be leaving a link on Amazon where you can find her book. And if you enjoyed this review, please subscribe, please like, please comment. Tell me what you think of this review. If I get a lot of comments, maybe I'll pick up some more erotica. You could have clicked on any book review channel for some weird reason. You decided to click on mine. I love the hell out of you for it, guys. We'll catch you next week.